Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of From Nothing, Luxunvur's story. You had a hell of a time yesterday, and as you were exhausted and you went to your quarters to fall asleep, which you had no trouble doing, I need you to go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy, okay, wisdom. Sure, let's hit it. 22.
No problem. You awaken at about, 5:30 in the morning, but you remember today is Saturday. There is no class today. It is your first day off since joining the Maryguard Academy. You are no longer exhausted, as you've completed a long rest. You still feel sore, as if you've done a great amount of physical effort yesterday, and your muscles are still recovering. But, Luxunvur, what do you do on your first weekend?
Oh boy, what do we do? I think we go look for a way to earn some money.
That's fair.
My funds are low.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So you get up, do you get breakfast?
Yeah, we'll get breakfast, and then after breakfast, we'll go look for Persh.
Breakfast at the Maryguard on the weekend is much less in depth than breakfast during the week. It looks like what is available to you is simply coffee, pastries, muffins, and bagels.
Okay, yeah, we just grab a couple.
I am rolling to see.
Okay.
Okay.
Those do me good.
2 temporary hit points from breakfast.
I mean, I could take a rock to the knee.
You could. All right. Hold on a minute while I move the map. So you're heading out into Farum proper to see how you can earn some money, or are you going to look for work around the academy?
We're gonna talk to Persh and see what his opinion is.
Okay. One moment here. Persh is at his front desk, as he always is. And as you approach, he doesn't really look up as he's working on his different parchments and papers. But you hear, "Morning."
Morning. I'm curious as I'm still new here and this is my first day off, but how would you recommend to make some coin around here?
Persh looks up and at you, and he says, You intend to spend your days off making money then?
Some days off, not all of them.
Right. Well, there's many businesses about town that might require the aid of a skilled hand. What sort of skills do you have?
Hmm. I'm very good at finding things. I'm very good at tracking. Things like that. That's pretty much all I have to offer.
Well, Persh thinks about it for a minute and sets the quill down and, scratches at his beard. How are you with animals?
I'm pretty alright.
Well, the traders around town might use your help to collect pelts, if that's the sort of thing you're good at.
Well, that sounds like I could give my hand at it.
Then you're gonna want to head down to the tapestry. Head down past the main market, and this time you're gonna head into the logging district. Before you hit the gate, you'll know the building when you see it. They're constantly tanning hides outside. You'll smell it before you see it.
Right. I appreciate it, Perch.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a wonderful day now.
You too, then. And he gets back to what he was doing.
I shall head off then.
Okay, you head out into Ferrum proper. What he described to you on this map is, once you hit the market, heading up towards following the Rain Road gate into this district here. While you're heading that way, I'm going to require a D8 roll, please.
D8. Here you go, sir. 5.
5. I need a D100.
Alrighty. Let's hope for something cool. 61.
Okay, hold on. Let's see here. $61. I might need you to re-roll. Hold on.
Okay. Always love the ones that don't fit.
It just sure doesn't right now. Not here. Yeah, I need you to re-roll.
97. Yeah, that's
Okay.
3 off.
Sorry? Say again?
I was just saying that's 3 off 100.
Would have been something interesting, but oh well. Now it's boring.
Damn.
I'm kidding. As you round through the market, there is a vendor. Well, not really a vendor. It's an individual trying to sell something. And as you look at what they are doing, you see this dwarf who is older in his years. Beard is white. Hair is balding on top. He has a monocle. But it's not a typical monocle. It's the sort of magnifying jeweler's loop sort of monocle you'd expect a tinkerer to wear. Except he's using it to basically look at people. You imagine maybe this man has eyesight problems or something extreme. But as you round the corner and look at him, he has this massive block. It is made of marble. It is not a complete statue, but it looks like it was carved into a statue at some point. Or maybe it's a piece of a statue? It's impossible to tell. But the dwarf says, "Come one, come all, take a look at the last remaining piece of the Kota City Clock Tower, an ancient and antique piece of art long destroyed. We are willing to sell this block of it for a mere 20 gold pieces." And as he's talking about it, he's getting some people that are looking at it curiously, but no one is stepping up to buy it. And when he sees you walk around the corner, he says, "Ah, you, sir, Mr. Dragonborn. You certainly have a taste for the arts, don't you? Allow me to interest you in a piece of history. I am Master Stoneheart."
Can I see if he's like telling the truth, or is he just trying to pawn this off?
Roll an insight check.
18.
So he seems like he's telling the truth, or at least it seems as honest as a street side vendor can be. But this large block of marble, roll me a history check.
Not as good.
Yeah.
Oh, 20.
Dirty 20. You remember hearing some rumors about the Kota City Clock Tower, a unique and like location of historical importance was destroyed a couple years ago, and it was mourned by the city, as it was a historic location where during the silence people would always gather in an attempt to reach out to Melisandre. But she couldn't answer. Regardless, they spent centuries ritualistically always collecting within the clock tower. And the statue with the dirty 20, you remember, was a statue of Melisandre. And it was huge. This large block, it could be from that statue. Could be. You don't know.
How much you say this was?
20 gold pieces. And that's a steal if I'm not cutting my own throat.
But why would you sell it for such a steal if it has such importance?
Well, I paid 18 gold for it. I need to make a small profit.
With an 18 insight, maybe? It could be. He's hard to read.
I don't want to buy this. You know what? I'll take you up on that offer. I'll take it.
Ah, perfect, a customer. All right. Well, where shall we have it delivered?
To the academy.
Are you all a student of the Marigard? Perfect. I knew a purveyor of the arts if I seen one. Very well.
And you see he begins making notes, and he says,
I do require your name for delivery purposes.
It's Levi.
Levi of the Marigard Academy. Very well. That will be 20 gold pieces, and it'll be delivered this afternoon.
Right, and I'll hand him 20 gold pieces.
You have purchased a large marble block.
Worst comes to worst, I got some plans with it later.
Okay. It is very heavy. It is about as tall as your torso. You don't think you could move it without aid.
Well, that's why they're delivering it. I will leave that to them.
It sure is. Okay. You have made this purchase, and you see the dwarven merchant, Master Stoneheart, makes some more notes and says,
All right, all you looky-loos, business is settled for today. Maybe I'll have something new for you tomorrow. Off with you all.
And he, you see, throws a canvas over the block, and then he puts a tiny little sign, tacked sold, on it.
Yes.
And
going to be magnificent.
He looks like he's settling the business of arranging its delivery, and you have purchased a block of marble. What do you do next?
I continue on my way to the tapestry.
Yes, the tapestry. All right, one moment. Sorry, excuse me.
You're fine.
The tapestry is a handsome building, and as you're making your way down the street, it is, as Perch said, impossible to miss. The building is made of clapboard wood planks, and it is stained kind of a dark brown, letting it stand out amongst the other more naturally colored woods buildings of this immediate area along the Rain Road. But the smell is pungent and powerful. The smell of tanning leather is never pleasant. And as you approach the front doors of the tapestry, the smell almost grows stronger. As you step up to the door of the tapestry, the door is kind of cracked open to allow air to come in and out. The door itself, it kind of gives you that almost homely feel of an old door that was built literally hundreds of years ago, older than the building itself, as if the door was brought with the person who built the place. And as you pull it open, it kind of creaks between your fingertips. And as you look inside, there is a broad counter, and then there are just racks upon racks of leather and pelts and hides, and the smell inside the building is vastly superior to the smell outside the building, but that doesn't mean it's very good. It smells very chemical in here. The smells of acetone seem to take over when you enter. And as you kind of look around, a halfling is at the counter. And you see it's early in the morning, and you see he has what looks like maybe a muffin that he's chewing on. And he looks at you and he says, "Good morning. How may I help you?"
I was here looking for work. I was told you might need a hand gathering pelts.
Looking for work? Maybe. Hold on. Let me check the orders. And he puts the muffin down and he pulls out a large wooden board that he sets on the counter and begins looking through it. Are you an avid hunter?
I dabble.
Dabble. Okay. As a Marigard student, I expect you're a ranger student, then?
No, not necessarily. I'm part of the monk class.
Oh. Well, if you have the skills, who am I to look aside? Let's see here. Are you proficient in survival?
No.
Okay.
I just have a big number in survival.
Okay. Fair enough. As the halfling looks you up and down, he says, "Well, as a freelance, I can see where... As a monk, okay. Hold on a minute. Hey!" He calls through the door, and you hear... "Get out of here! We got a freelancer!" You hear some cluttering coming from the back. And finally, after a long pause, a tall, almost wiry thin human man appears and says, What is it?" "We have a freelancer." "Oh, all right." And he steps out to the desk and looks at you, and he holds out his hand. "Marcus Tapis."
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Levi.
"Yeah, it's certainly nice. You're here to freelance for us. I'll be going out on a hunt here in a few minutes. Have you ever hunted, what's the mark? Hippogriff. Have you ever hunted a hippogriff before?"
No, I have not. I just came back from hunting an owlbear the other day.
Well, this won't be quite as dangerous, but we do need the jump on the thing. Can you be quiet?
I'm fairly sneaky.
You do look to have that about you. All right. Depending on how we take the hide in, we'll be able to pay you up to 15 gold. How does that sound?
Sounds good enough to me.
All right, we head out in 20 minutes. Get yourself ready.
Right. I'll meet you out front then.
Yep. And he heads back into the back. And the halfling looks at you and he says, "Now, you understand if any personal harm comes to you, that's not our fault, nor is it our business. We will help you as we obviously can, but we are not liable as you are taking this task upon yourself, and it is your responsibility to protect your own hide."
Right.
It's just standard freelance stuff. If you do find yourself grievously injured, the physicary, just up by your academy, that will often provide healing services, no questions, free of charge.
Good to know.
I just need you to sign here, waiving our claim to liability.
Yep, I'll sign it.
Perfect. All right. Marcus will be out in just a moment. Do you have your own gear?
I have some gear. I don't know if it's exactly up to par with what you use.
You just need a good skinning knife and a couple traps if you know how to use them.
Well, I have the knife I use, but it's not really made for the job. As
All
this
right,
is
I
my
can.
full-time job.
Sure. You have 5 copper on you.
Yeah, I'll give him a silver. Tell him to keep change.
It's just a deposit. You'll get it back when you bring the tools back. And he gives you a hunter's kit.
Well, how much to just keep this?
If you want it yourself, you'll be taking a loss from working with us today. It's 20 gold for a full kit.
All right. Well, hold on to the deposit, and when I get paid, we'll talk about it. It'll come in handy in the future, if nothing else.
Fair enough. Within the hunter's kit is a very lightweight and flexible skinning knife, which makes harvesting the hinds and pelts of creatures very easy. There is also a number of tools for stretching and shearing off hides. There is also 3 snare traps.
Okay. I will sit outside and familiarize myself with these objects until... Oh shoot, I forgot his name already. Until he comes out.
Marcus.
I'll write that down.
Marcus Tapus.
Marcus Tapus.
Marcus Tapus steps outside, and you see along with him is accompanied a large, black-haired mastiff. And as he looks at you, he says, "You good with dogs?"
Never really tried with dogs, to be honest. I'll go up to the dog and try to be friendly with it.
Go on, Toolsy, give him a sniff. And this mastiff approaches you. Go ahead and roll me animal handling.
22.
22. Okay. The mastiff sniffs you, and then you suddenly feel his head bump into the palm of your hand as he seems to require a pet from you.
Oh, he's a good boy, and I'll give him a scritch behind the ear.
All right, Toolsy likes you. You can't be too bad. All right, we're heading into the forest. Be ready. We're going down the rain road.
Alright, that sounds fine.
So we can play this out, or you can just roll and we can see how much money you make. It's up to you.
We'll just roll.
All right. As you go down the rain road into the Allen Woods, it takes you a few hours to track down a hippogriff. Go ahead and roll me. I'm going to need a few rolls. The first is I need a perception check.
14.
With a 14, you and Marcus do spend quite a bit of time trying to find the proper trails at which you can intercept this hippogriff that looks as though it is grounded, or at least it is not flying for some reason. Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
17.
17. All right, 1 minute. And lastly, I need a stealth check.
Oh. I'm gonna pop my inspiration.
Okay, roll it.
Even worse. It's a 10. First one's a 10. Jesus. That's rough.
It takes you a while. You're having a hard time managing to sneak up on the hippogriffs in the local area. Excuse me. The plagues of allergy season.
Oh boy, don't I know it.
As you are trying to find a hippogriff, you do manage to find one that seems to be remarkably less perceptive than the others you've come across. And while the forest is not packed with hippogriffs, there are a few. With that survival and perception, you and Marcus do manage to bag a hippogriff, harvesting the hide from it relatively well, and you make your way back to Ferrum. It's a successful hunt, though not as successful as it could have been. And Marcus seems to be the sort of kind of older human that does not shy away from complaining about things. Complaining about maybe your lack of stealth, or complaining about every branch that might possibly have hit him in the chest and face as you made your way through the forest. Eventually, you do make it back to the tapestry, and it's in the later afternoon after a successful hunt. You have the hides of a hippogriff under your arms. They are well sheared and look like they're ready to be tanned. And as you enter, Marcus goes past you into the back and says, "You did fine," and goes into the back room. And the halfling looks at you and says, "Right, that's a good sounding hunt. Nothing sounded unusual. Old Marcus can be a bit ornery, as it seems. So, based on, let me see the pelts." He's got them on the counter. You see he weighs them, and then spreads them out, inspecting them for damage. You rolled a 17 on survival, which is enough to securely harvest without damaging the pelt of a hippogriff.
Huh.
That's a fine pelt indeed. This was not the biggest hippogriff, but it'll certainly do the trick. Well, about 18 gold final.
Alright, how about you keep that, and we call it even for the hit.
Roll persuasion.
Seven.
Sorry, I can't take a loss on the kit. We only have a few of those, but if you can spare another 7 gold, it's yours.
Thought he said it was 20. Did I mishear that?
Well... Sorry, you're right. It should be an extra 2 gold.
Right. Then I'll slide 2 gold over to him.
He nods, and he makes a note, and he says, "All right, then, it's fair doing business with you. I assume, if you're willing to work with Marcus again, we can take another freelance job next time we have one coming."
Sounds good to me. He wasn't so bad.
Right. Well, thanks for working with the tapestry, and I look forward to seeing you again, Levi. Did you have a last name?
No, it's just Levi.
Right.
My parents weren't into last names.
All right, Mr. Levi. You have a pleasant
You have
afternoon.
a good one. Indeed. And I'll head on back to the academy, because I now have something else I would like to do.
Okay. Make sure you mark in your inventory that you now have a hunter's kit.
Right. Let me do
It's
that.
not a real D&D Beyond item, so...
Yeah, I figured. Custom items. Yeah. So, back to the Merry-Guard.
Okay, as you make your way back up to the Merry-Guard Academy, I need you to roll me a D8.
Right. And how long would you say that took?
It's about
adventure
3 in
took?
the afternoon. It took a while to get out there and find a hippogriff.
Right. Cool.
I need a D100, please.
All right. 66.
66. As you're walking down the road, it is busy, and you're making your way past the markets. Once you get past like the main throng of the market, a man bumps into you, and he says, "I'm sorry, there's buried goods in the East Park, if you know what I'm saying. Excuse me." And he, like, shoves off of you in the direction of the East Park.
I'm gonna check my person to make sure he didn't take anything.
Yeah, roll a perception.
11. I probably just got robbed and don't even know it.
You don't think anything was taken. This man appears extremely drunk.
Buried in the park. How far? Do I know how far that park is from here?
It's you're going down the same road. It's right here. This is the East Park.
Okay. Okay. It's down the road to the Merry. Okay. I'll follow him.
Okay. You follow this drunken man towards the East Park. Are you trying to be discreet about it, or do you not care?
I don't care.
Okay.
He's drunk. We're walking the same way. It's fine.
You watch as he stumbles, kind of runs into a couple other people. Have I described the East Park to you?
You have not.
The East Park is a section of town where it looks as though the forest of the Allenwood used to be all the way up to the Maryguard Academy. And as the forest was cleared away, they left this section and just turned it into a park. It is broad. It is very it's a lot of land that is the section of this town. And you notice that it's commonly used as a campground by adventurers. There are a number of cook fires set up in the East Park, and as you're approaching it, you do see that there are a few little more than fallen logs that have been turned into benches for people to use. And you watch as this drunken man walks into the East Park, stumbles over a fallen log onto it, and falls asleep.
Right. He'll shake his head and he'll just head to the academy.
Okay. Fair enough. As you head your way up to the Maryguard Academy, you do see the sign of the physicary on your left, which the tapestry individuals had pointed out to you if you needed it. Which is good to make a note of in case you are grievously injured and not a place where your cleric instructor can patch you up.
Right. I'll keep that in mind.
As you head into the Maryguard Academy, Persh looks up at you. He notices the vestiges of the forest on your clothes, the pine needles that are stuck in your boots and those sorts of things, and he says, "Looks like you had a successful hunt."
It was a little more rough than I expected it to be.
I do have a question for you.
Right. What's that?
What in the nine hells are we supposed to do with this? And he points at this very large chunk of marble that is tucked aside in the foyer here.
Right. It's actually a gift for Tabernacle.
Uh-huh. Right. And he takes a deep breath, lets out a sigh, and picks up a box. He pulls the blue stone off of it and says, "Amila, could you kindly help me move something heavy?" There's a pause. I know you're busy. Yeah. I believe it has to go up a tower, or I wouldn't have asked you. All right. Thank you. He kind of pinches the bridge of his nose with the stone still in his hand and then puts it away. Right. The sorcery instructor will be down in a moment to help us move this to Tabernacle's tower.
Alright, sorry, I didn't quite think of the inconvenience this would put on everyone else.
It's fine. I'm curious how you would have handled this if we did not have a high elf gifted in telekinesis.
Very good question.
And as as you say that, Amila enters the foyer. And she says, "Right, so what did you need?" And Persh looks at her and says, "Our student here has purchased a gift for Tabernacle." And Amila looks at the massive marble rock and says, "Ah, of course he did." Right. And she kind of sizes it up, and she looks at you. She says, well, let's see how we can get this up the stairs, shall we? And she tweaks her hand in the air, and the chunk of marble statue up off the ground. And it begins to move its way down the hallway toward Tabernacle's tower.
Quite impressive.
I know I am. Please follow along.
And
Right,
she
yeah.
marches down the hallway with this chunk of marble statue floating in front of her.
Follow her.
May I ask what compels you to purchase a gift of this nature for Tabernacle?
Well,
See.
I'm not entirely sure how true the story is, but I was told this was a piece of the clock tower, and I know Tabernacle likes its stories, and I figured this would be quite an interesting find for him.
Well, I certainly look forward to seeing the look on his face.
And Amilla guides. The statue is a little bit too tall to fit through the door that goes in the tower. So the statue suddenly turns abruptly on its side, and she feeds it up the stairs, up the winding staircase.
So, when you say that, what do you mean exactly?
He's either going to love it, or he's going to be amused at the waste of time that I have been exposed to.
Ah, right. So coin flip is what you're telling me. Well, let's hope for the prior then.
Yes, let's. And she begins heading up the tower. Okay, as you climb into Tabernacle's classroom, hold on a minute. I didn't anticipate you sending a giant marble rock. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. Let me activate. Okay. The door to Tabernacle's classroom is opened by another telekinetic push, and the chunk of marble statue is carefully slid through the narrow doorway up onto the balcony. And before setting it down, Amilla says, "Oh, this probably is a bit too heavy for this decking, isn't it? Well, onward we go." And you see she raises her hands and walks forward as if her hands are open in offering, but the statue chunk is just floating in front of her. Let's see what he has to say. And you hear, "See what who has to say." Okay. And Tabernacle sees this corner of the marble rock fly over the edge of the stairs. And Amilla strides down the stairs. "May I ask what is the meaning of this?" Tabernacle asks as Amilla carries this down. And Amilla says, "Well, one of our students has a gift for you." "A gift? Levi?"
That would be me.
"Could you maybe explain what this is? Because it looks..."
Right. So, you're pretty intelligent, and I happened to run into someone who was selling this as part of the clock tower, as historical art. And I know you like stories and information, and I thought this would be wonderful if it was what he said it was.
Tabernacle looks at the statue piece carefully, and you see a mage hand drifts across the room, and he puts a lens over his eyes, looking at the statue, and he says, "This is indeed a section of the Melisandre's devotion statue from the Kota City Clock Tower. Levi, is this supposed to be a bribe of some kind? And as he asks you that, Amila looks at you and she just kind of gives you a smirk and a small half nod as if it seems like he likes it.
A bribe for what? I don't recall doing something that requires a bribe.
Perhaps one for a future mistake. And Amila says, "Where should I put this? As it is heavy." And Tabernacle says, "Oh, please. You could keep that up all day, and we both know it. Just set it over here by the stage, and I will choose a proper location once I have appraised it fully." And Amila does, and it sets down on the flooring with a... Well, my work is done. I will see you all later. And Amila sees herself up the stairs.
Thank you again.
You are welcome. Don't make a habit of it. And she climbs the stairs. Tabernacle looks at you and at the statue, and he says, "I would love to know where you found this curiosity."
It was a random dwarf in the market selling it.
Well, it is authentic. I imagine they likely acquired it from a looter. No matter. It is now in the hands of someone who will treat it properly.
I figured you'd like it.
This is a pleasant surprise. Thank you.
Honestly, when I saw it, I thought the guy was trying to sell some marble. And if you said it was fake, I would have tried my hand at, who knows, a new hobby maybe.
Well, you'll not be trying any hobbies on this, I don't believe. However, I will. I look forward to seeing what sort of histories are behind this stone. I will be casting legend lore on it the instant I have the time.
If possible, would you be fine with me sitting in, learning its secrets?
You wish to know?
I do.
Then maybe I have the time now. And Tabernacle looks to the corner of the stage, and you see a spellbook slide out from a kind of tucked away corner that you never would have seen until it moved. It is a massive spellbook. You believe this might actually be Tabernacle's real spellbook as it floats across the stage and sets down on the ground in front of him. The brass dragon begins to sift through the pages, and he says, "Let me see. Yes, this will simply do." And with his other claw, a blue crystal of Banasite appears. It's fairly small, but it looks like it's pure. You can see clear through it, and it reflects and gathers the light of the stained glass windows as if it were a prism. And he sets it down next to the spellbook, and he says, "Have you ever witnessed a legend lore before?"
Not even remotely.
Fascinating. Very well. Come here.
No, approach.
Tabernacle touches you. And for a moment, you feel this disorienting feeling. As if you just stood up too quickly and all the blood rushed from your head. You feel dizzy, but it settles. And then it's just, you find yourself looking at yourself. You are seeing through Tabernacle's eyes.
Oh.
Are you prepared?
A little disorienting, but yes, I'm okay now.
Good. You may want to have a seat.
And I sit down. I watch myself sit down, and it just kind of blows my mind for a brief second.
It is a little bit disorienting as you force yourself to sit down through the eyes of someone else. One moment, please. Tabernac grasps the Banasite crystal, this blue crystal in between his claws, and you watch through his eyes as it seems to melt at the tips of his talons until it is turned to little more than blue dust floating up out of his hands. He turns and places his hands against the statue. I should say his claws. As he does, the ethereal blue mist of the Banasite swirls around the enormous chunk of marble statue. Almost as though looking through a window made of the blue mist, you watch a group of humans and elves working in a quarry. The massive chunks of stone gathered together, pulled apart, pulled out of the quarry, hauled miles upon miles into the center of of a city that is not really a city, of buildings that look old, but new, as though they were just built, made of stone and thatch, of hay and stacked logs, a city that does not look nearly close to the splendor that is Coda City today. It's not even a city. As you're looking at it through this portal, you're looking at what is little more than a small town, and as you watch this section of stone being built, before the walls around it can be built, you see that the town is built up with high walls, high defenses. You hear the sounds of battle, of orcs, of goblins, of monsters, of gnolls, of dragons assailing the town, one after the other after the other. It seems as though like every day or every month or every year, the passage of time is impossible to perceive through this portal. But the town that you know to be Coda City is assailed constantly. Until suddenly your vision of the outside is gone, and the statue is slowly being built up. From this section of stone is one of them, a part of Melisandre's leg. Her left calf is what this chunk of marble is from. And as the stone is attached together, adhered together with what looks like almost milky water, used like glue, each section of the statue is built higher and higher, and you see this room that it's in be built up into a massive temple, where on the top side of it you can see there is a loft that leads up high into what maybe is a tower or a bastion or a redoubt, something like that. You can't tell from this portal. But then you watch thousands of years pass as this statue sees millions of people talk to it, bow before it. You hear the prayers of people weep in fear, in mourning, in grief, in hope, as they stand before the statue of Melisandre and hope that she can hear them, but she can't. And you watch it through this legend lore as millennia pass for this statue. The building around it coming down, going back up, coming down, going back up, being built up in different ways, new lights being installed, windows being opened or broken, or it's impossible to perceive. Suddenly, the windows are blackened. The door is blocked shut, and you hear the sounds of machinery. Or maybe it's simply a clock, accelerated impossibly quickly through the perceptions of the legend lore. The sounds of the clock tower. The statue of Melisandre is in the darkness, in the middle of this tall room, and the only sights you see now are spiders building their webs and dust. And then suddenly, new light shines in the room. Light that is closed off quickly, and you see individuals that move carefully, quietly. They don't really alter the interior of this room, of this temple. They don't really mess with it. But what they do is they lay down cots and bedrolls. They sleep. They leave, and they return with what looks like the belongings of other people. You're looking in the thieves' den.
Oh.
Suddenly, an individual was pulled into the room. A lanky, tall man with a blindfold on his head. And moments later, you watch as the temple burns. Fire fills the air around the statue. And as you are looking, you are suddenly seeing the open air once more. And then something happens, something aggressive, something energetic, and the statue is tumbling. And you are looking at the section of Melisandre's leg, laying on the broken wooden floor. Sunlight's glancing over it. You know it's outside. It's being picked up and moved and hauled across places. You see it loaded into the back of a wagon. You see it in a basement, in storage, somewhere dusty, somewhere dark. And then it is pulled out again, and then there are the sounds of fighting. Lots of fighting. Suddenly, before your perceptions can really tell what happened, it is aboard another cart, being carried along. And time seems to slow for the legend lore. As you hear a group of individuals,
Right, lift you that side. It's heavy, I'm trying. Be careful, watch the corner.
as it is set up on the platform in the Ferrum Market. And the legend lore finally slows to a stop. As through the legend lore's portal, you see Amilla's face as she concentrates on the telekinesis, and you see yourself walking behind her. Finally, as the legend lore ends, Tabernac touches you again, and your senses return to you, and he says, "Well, it is nothing like a look through history through the eyes of something important, is it?"
How long was that?
Well, before Coda City was what it is, it was merely a village where humans and elves agreed to work together, and that was pre-silence, so 4,000 years ago, I believe.
Oh my god. That almost doesn't feel real.
It was. And now I can see that any time I like. Because of you, Levi. And for that you have my gratitude.
Just thought you would enjoy it, that it'd be a good gift. I'm glad it was.
If you find more relics, that is the true value of them. To see where they came from, to see who touched them and research it that way. Through legend lore, we can learn the lore of all legends, which is why things like this, and he taps the statue almost reverently, these things are important.
I can see that. It's
Thank
one
you
thing
again.
to... Yeah, no worries then. That was very informative, and it's one thing to hear a legend, and it's another to see it.
Yes,
So,
it is.
if anything, I should be thanking you.
Well, that was expensive. And he kind of brushes the blue powder residue off of his gloves.
Right. Oh. How long did that take? What time is it?
Legend lore takes an hour, so that took an hour.
Ugh.
It was an hour of going through the visions of the life of this piece of statue.
Hell yeah, that was awesome. Oh, right, I should probably get some food. I have a few other things to do before tomorrow.
Probably.
Uh, Thank you very much, and I'll see you around. And I'll get up and I'll head
I
out.
will be here. And as you leave, you are heading to the mess hall to get something to eat. Hold on a minute. That is not the appropriate sound for going to get food. Are you going to the mess hall? Or are you going somewhere?
Sure am.
Okay.
That's all first.
Let's see here.
I don't really care about the temp HP, just to grab a bite to eat and see if there's anyone in there.
Roll me a D. Okay, first roll me a D4.
D4. 4.
Okay, roll me a D10.
D10. Also 4.
Okay. Lunch in the mess hall is what looks like some very... They smell amazing. It looks as though it's almost like a beef stew, but they're served over sandwiches.
Oh.
It's the sort of thing that would be easy to sit down and eat quickly, alongside what looks like mixed vegetables. And as you get yourself something to eat and you sit down, I'd like a perception check, please.
Alright. 21.
Hold on. You don't know when it happened, but at some point while you're eating your sandwich, you look up and there is a purple-skinned tiefling in dark leathers seated across from you, eating a sandwich of her own. That's what she looks like.
Hello.
She looks up at you as you say hello, and she takes the sandwich out of both hands and puts it into one and just waves.
When did you get here?
She shrugs and looks down at her sandwich, which is about maybe half eaten.
Very light on your feet, aren't you?
She kind of tilts her head and nods.
Alright, I'll let you enjoy your food. I won't bother you too much.
She points.
What does she point to?
She's pointing at you, sorry.
Oh. What about me?
She holds out a hand and she says, well, not like, she's not like offering a shake, but she holds like a hand open in the air as if offering, and she says, I'm Skolna.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Skolna. I'm Levi.
She nods and resumes eating her sandwich.
You're quite the curious one.
She shrugs.
Right. And what class are you in?
She raises an eyebrow over the sandwich. She waits to see if you get the hint.
The rogue class?
She snaps her fingers with a thumbs up.
I like your silent enthusiasm.
Thanks.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Maybe I'll see you around again.
She
I
nods.
have an instructor to go see.
She nods.
I'll get up and head out.
Okay.
Fucking Skalna.
Let's see who rolled.
I love her.
Okay. As you head out, what instructor are you going to see?
I don't know where he's at, so I have to go ask Perch, but I want to see the ranger instructor.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I don't believe I actually have the Ranger's classroom set up on yours. Let me... Hang on.
I'm just full of surprises today.
Yeah, you are really throwing me curveballs. Which is okay. Just a minute. This won't take long. All right. And then... Okay. Nope, that's your classroom. That would be bad. That would be confusing.
Very much. What the fuck? Wow.
All right. And then... You've really thrown me for a curveball here. I have to basically import the whole NPC.
I mean, we can just
No,
mental game it if you want.
No. It's cool.
Okay.
It's not hard to do. I just have to wait for the fucking importer to do the thing. Okay. All right, so you head out into the foyer where Persh is permanently at work. As you do, what do you say?
I hate to bother you again, but...
Right, but you're going to anyway.
Right, yeah. It just has to be done. Where can I find the Rangers class?
Right-hand hall, 4 doors down.
Right, thank you. And I'll head off that way.
You're welcome. The Rangers classroom... Okay, so as you go through the door, it is a very similar feeling as to when you enter Iriakis' sanctuary, except it is also completely different. It is as though you are suddenly stepping into just a blast of fresh air that pushes through the door into you, and it almost pushes you back a step. As you enter, you see there is another forest, but this is very much alive and full of noises. It's not similar to the Allen forest, which is much more warm. This forest is almost a cold weather forest. And you notice that while the air is thick and breezy, it's also powerful. It's almost as though it's pushing you around once you step out into this classroom. And you see that near one of a broken stump, you see a half-orc woman is just reading. She has a foot up on the stump, her back's against a tree as she's seated there, and she's reading a book. And as you enter, she glances up at you and says, "Yeah, can I help you?"
Are you the instructor for this class?
"Yeah. I'm Triss. Who are you?"
Nice to meet you, Triss. I'm Levi. I'm Iriakis' student.
"Right, okay. It's a pleasure to meet you too." And she closes the book. She says, How can I help you?"
Right, so I'm not entirely sure how things work here. I know I'm studying to be a monk, and there are many things to learn from Iriakis. But I have learned today that I am lacking some skills in a trade I wish to pursue as sort of part-time financial gain.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't... I was told that we use the academy to our benefit, and I didn't know if you could show me some things. if that was against the rules or...
It's not against the rules. She looks at you. You know, this is my day off, too.
Well, it didn't have to be today. I was just getting the feel and, learning who you are to begin with.
Well, let's get a look at you. Come here.
I'll go up to her.
Turn around.
Yep. Turns around.
Walk over to that tree and back.
He does so.
You have no fucking clue how to walk in a forest, do you?
Is it that obvious?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. What's your name again?
Levi.
Levi. I only have 2 ranger students right now, so I have a lot of free time on my hands. And I got a lot of ideas. So, if you're willing to put in a little bit of time, I'll show you some tricks. Get you so you're not bumbling over your ass out here in the woods.
Would be much appreciated.
Does Ariakis know you're here?
He does not.
Make sure you tell him.
Of course.
All right. First things first, where are you from?
The Northern Frosts.
Okay. Like just the mountains, or are you from a town, or...
The mountains. There's a small little town in the mountains. One of my parents grew up, and the locals there. And, I don't even know if it's on a map. I looked when I got here, but couldn't find it.
I believe this is going to be a deception check.
Yeah.
As she is insight checking you.
Oh, brother. 14.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with a 31, she sees through it.
31. Jesus Christ. Okay.
She says, look.
It's only a half lie, to be fair.
Okay. Look. The first thing that's going to be important. You tell the truth. I tell the truth. No halvesies. Okay? Wherever you're from, you develop habits.
Right.
Habits you might need to break.
Well, I am from the Northern Frosts. That part is true.
Mm-hmm.
I am from the mountains. That part is also true.
Right. Okay. It's like talking to Maxwell. Okay, look. I don't mind showing a student a thing or two. Come with me.
Right? He'll follow.
She begins walking into the woods, and she says, "You're from the Northern Frosts. You got any idea where we are right now?"
Do I have any idea where we're at?
Roll a nature check.
And that one.
Not the foggiest. You're in a forest.
If it's anything like Ariakis's, somewhere in the world. I have no idea.
You're on Zephyr.
Do I know what Zephyr is?
Yeah, you know what Zephyr is.
Oh.
The floating continent in the sky. This, in particular, is the Skywood. There's a lot of weird shit that happens out here. Now, my ranger students, they're prepared because I show them what to look for. You're not a ranger student. What I need you to be careful of. There are cloud giants up here. We have a treaty with them. Or rather, all we, as in all of mortals, have a treaty with them. If we don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with us. We here at the Marigard, we respect that. We leave them alone. Capiche?
Of course, I would never dream of. That would be a very quick end to me.
It sure would. But it would also be a quick end to everyone up here. That's part of the deal.
Yeah, you have no worries.
All right. Well, first things first. There's a game trail here. Find it.
Okay.
Roll me survival.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell, it's a 9.
With a 9, you don't know what a game trail looks like today. You're like, these are woods. You like looking at the ground and you see fallen brush. You see limbs that have tumbled from trees. You see a lot of dead leaves. You can hear a creek nearby.
Oh. I think
We're starting from the ground up, huh?
I'm usually better than this, but this place, it's different than what I'm used to.
Quit fighting it. Okay? You gotta accept where you are for what it is. You trying to see it as you think it should be is not going to help you find anything or anyone.
Right. Oh.
So,
Just take a deep breath.
we're high up. It's cold. I asked you to find a game trail. Do you know what sort of creatures would be in a place that's high up and cold?
Can I roll to see if he would know?
Yeah. Just roll nature.
At 20 or 21.
Yeah. The same sort of creatures you'd expect from any other cold weather forest, like deer, buck, fox, raccoon, anything with lots of fur that would have good insulation, anything that makes its home in the woods in cold weather, you are pretty sure would be up here.
I would relay all of that to her.
Good. You do have a head on your shoulders. Right. So, if we're looking for creatures that are big and furry and like it cold, we're probably looking for a very specific kind of game trail, ain't we?
Right.
Roll survival with advantage, as Triss is helping you.
Okay. 19.
19. Yeah. You find, after about 10 minutes of looking, instead of getting frustrated and not knowing what the hell you're looking at, with a 19, you make your way through the woods and you do find a game trail that looks like it is frequented by deer. You find a deer trail. And as you find it, Triss slaps you on the back and says, "Good start." Well, now I have an idea of what you're working with. Every time you come by, we'll see what we can do to hammer out some, common sense into that head of yours.
Right, I very much appreciate it. I'll try not to make it too frequent. That way you still have, your free time.
I appreciate that. Let's head back.
No problem.
One moment. Okay. Sorry about that.
All right.
Triss leads you back towards the door, and she says, "As with all students, whether you're of mine or anybody else's, when you're in one of these rooms, you will always know where the door is." Which is kind of cheating, because as part of ranger training, you have to figure out north, south, east, west on your own. So, it is what it is.
I noticed that in the temporal plane. Thankful for that, though. That was a big mess.
Yeah. I don't know how Iriakis pulled those strings, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, once again, thank you very much, and I will see you again later.
I count on it. And she sits back down on her stump and picks up her book again.
I'll head out, and I will go back to my room and call it an early night.
Okay. You go to bed early.
It's been a very fruitful day.
Hold on a minute. As you go to sleep, when you wake up, it's Sunday, which is still the weekend. You still don't have class. It is maybe 7 in the morning, as you're still on that schedule of waking up early. Except there's a knock at your door.
Yeah, I'll get up and I'll go answer. I'll slide the door open and who is it?
It's Maxwell.
Oh.
He's looking down at you and he says, "Good morning, Levi. I didn't want to disturb you, but it turns out it looks like there's going to be a new monk student."
Oh.
Yeah. How comfortable are you with showing them around? If
Sure,
not, I
do
can
that.
always ask Kyo. It's not a big deal, but
Yeah,
you're
no,
newer.
I don't mind.
All right. Perfect. Maxwell kind of beams at you a little bit. One moment, please, as this was a little bit faster coming than I thought it would be. Again, you're pulling the rug out from underneath me.
That's 3 times now.
Okay. There they are. Okay, there we go. I have gotten my eggs in a basket. That's the saying, right?
It is definitely the saying.
All right.
Let's hope I don't make a new basket.
Yes, please stop making baskets. You see, standing behind Maxwell, looking a little, well, just as nervous as you imagine anyone does when they first enroll in the Maryguard Academy, you see a Triton. She has all sorts of what looks like maybe barnacles or pieces of seashell. It's like looking at the underside of a boat, but it's in swaths on her skin as she looks at you and she says, "Hey."
Good morning.
She looks very nervous. Let me pull this out so you can see what she looks like. As she stands there behind Maxwell, Maxwell says, "Right, so this is your dormitory. It's the day off, so there's no class and no instructor to introduce you to, but that's where old Levi comes in, eh?" And Maxwell gives you a nudge with an elbow.
Right, it's a pleasure to meet you. Like you said, the name's Levi.
You can call me Wash.
Wash. Pleasure, Wash.
And she looks between you and Maxwell says, "Right, she doesn't talk a lot, I don't think. Or at least, not to me. I wish you the best of luck." And Maxwell nods to you and seems grateful to have left her with you as he leaves. And she just looks at you with large, very sea-colored eyes that maybe are a little bit too big.
Right. Well, It's the morning. Are you hungry?
Yeah, I could eat.
Alright, well, let's start with the mess hall then. And, we'll head out towards the mess hall.
As you're heading toward the mess hall, with your passive perception, you notice this Triton keeps getting distracted by everything. You see that she runs her hand on the stone wall of the keep. You see that to every door she cracks them and looks in just a little bit and then closes it again. By the time that you are nearly to the mess hall, she is just started in the hallway.
Right. So, where did you come from?
She looks at you. The shelf.
Do I know what the shelf is?
Roll a history. Probably not. But you could roll really high, who knows?
Nope, I rolled a 6.
You don't know what the shelf is.
Alright, I'm not even gonna pretend to know what that is.
Okay.
But I'm going to guess it's nothing like here.
No. Where are you from?
I'm from the Northern Frosts. In the mountains, way up there.
Mountains.
Quite cold, always snowing, wind's always blowing hard.
What's snowing?
It's like soft water that's very cold.
All right. She doesn't look like she actually knows what you're saying, but just accepts it. It seems
Right,
like she's probably had that look on her face a lot.
Do you have any questions about here? And he'll just kind of look at everything she's touching.
What is this? She says as she's touching the wall made of stone.
It is stone. Do you know what stone is?
Yes?
It's stone that's put together to make rooms. You know what a room is?
Yes.
Okay.
Then she looks at you and she says, "Thank you."
You're welcome. Please, if you have any questions as we're going through the day, feel free to ask them.
Are you a Jakuli?
No, I am not.
You look like a Jakuli, but you walk.
Does Levi knows what a Jakuli is, right? I think we've been over this.
Yes, you know what a Jakuli
Yeah.
is. It's kind of
Yeah,
a
okay.
sea dragon sort of thing.
Right.
And it's more like a drake, but swims.
Yeah, right. I guess we do have similar features. No, I'm what you call a dragonborn. It's the land equivalent of a Jakuli. He
Okay.
kind of says it with like a half-cocked face, like, I think that's right, maybe?
She just nods and it seems to accept that answer. What is Levi wearing?
He's just wearing the monk garb that he was given.
Okay.
Plain, simple,
Sure.
nothing else.
She
All
like
his real belongings are in the chest.
she like reaches toward you and hooks a finger around the soft linen of the garb and she says, "I like this."
You'll get one, don't worry. This is the uniform of our class.
I'd like it now.
Sure, let's see if we can find Max one.
Okay. You head to where he usually is the selections room. You see Persh looking at you as you approach it, and he has a raised eyebrow.
Hey, Morning, Persh, and sure you've already met our friend here.
Trust me, I have.
Is Maxwell in?
I don't know.
Uh, well, our friend here wants her set of monk garments, and I was seeing if Maxwell could give them to her like he did me.
Oh, just go in and take him off the table. It'll be fine. I'll deal with it if he has a problem.
Oh, right, okay. So he'll go in and he'll grab the stuff for her.
Okay. Maxwell is not in his pedestal, so you grab her the monk equipment, and as you hand it to her, she just looks at you and she says, "Right here."
No, please. Back in your dorm.
Dorm, right. And she goes to the room that Maxwell assigned her. The key mystifies her. She does not know how to use the key.
Yeah, look, you take it like this, and he'll grab her hand, and he'll put the key in, and he'll guide her hand slowly to open the door, and just have her practice once or twice.
You
to
see that
understand.
when she does understand it, she looks embarrassed that she didn't understand it immediately, and she says, "Thank you." And
No worries.
she kind of scurries into the room and closes the door. It's a long time before she comes back out. She does eventually come back out, and she's wearing the top, the tunic of the garb, backwards.
Right. You need to turn that around. It's supposed to be the other way.
It is more comfortable this way.
Our instructor may have an issue if you don't wear it properly.
All right. She goes back in the room. It's only a moment, and then she comes back out, and it's facing the right way. And you see that she's turning her head a little bit, tilting it as if there's an itch that she can't quite reach.
There a problem?
I'll get used to it.
Right. Okay, well. It looks good on you at the very least.
Thank you. And she seems to kind of light up a little bit at the compliment.
Right. So breakfast then, yeah?
Yeah.
He goes to say something, but probably decides it's best that she'll only ask more questions.
Okay.
And he'll take her down to the mess hall. This time keeping an eye on her and make sure she's keeping up.
She keeps getting distracted. Do you speak primordial?
I do.
Okay. In the middle of one of the, her trying to look at something and you pull her along, in Aquan, she says, "I just wanted to look."
And Aquan, he'll reply, "We'll have plenty of time to look."
Her eyes grow wide and she says, "You speak of the shelf?"
It's something I picked up over the years.
I would be much more comfortable if we talk like this. I'm not very good at common.
Sure. Doesn't bother me.
That is a relief.
That explains why you were so quiet.
You're the first person since I came to this town that understands the way of the shelf, and thank you. Yes, I'm hungry.
Oh, wonderful. So, let's grab some food and then we'll explore the academy. How about that?
That sounds like an excellent idea. And she keeps pace with you, seemingly given some confidence by the fact that you can speak her language.
I guess it was a good thing that came to me instead of Kyo.
I didn't expect you to be able to speak primordial. Man, Just every turn this session, huh?
Yeah. Fucking so many baskets. So many different eggs.
So many. Now, as you take the young Triton to the mess hall and show her breakfast, I believe that's going to be a good spot for this session to end. And we will pick up there when we resume next week. I hope you had a good time. There was a lot of crazy turns this session. I didn't expect you to pursue hunting. I didn't pursue you to buy a giant marble rock. I didn't expect you to give it to Tabernac. It just everything. Holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah, when you said when the seller was selling it and he seemed that he might think it's the truth, I was like, huh. That'd be a cool gift for Tabernac because he likes his stories and it put me in his good graces, so why not? Let's grab it. And worst case scenario, he tells me it's fake and I learn how to sculpt things.
There you go. Yep. All right. Well played, sir. And I look forward to next session.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm
All
excited.
right.